Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. The Valley is getting ready to host one of the biggest sporting events in the world, Super Bowl 57, where we'll see the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs.
It also means a lot of money will be exchanged when it comes to wagering, and in Arizona, sports betting is completely legal. So what can Arizona expect when it comes to fans who will be betting on the big game, which is right in our backyard?
Today we're talking with Max Hartgraves. He's with the Arizona Department of Gaming. He's going to break down all of the numbers if you're planning to make a wager on the big game.
This is On Your Side with Susan Campbell and Gary Harper, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Susan, you look like an angel today.
Oh, thank you.
You're all dressed in white.
Trying to bring the springtime.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we got to get, we have people coming to the Valley. They're expecting summery weather.
You're making me look bad because look what I'm wearing.
I know you've got some golf gear on.
I'm all in black.
Yeah, but it's golf gear. So you're getting ready for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. We're making sure that everybody's represented here.
And I think you're doing a good job
Thank
at
you.
it.
You too.
Man, Super Bowl coming up, exciting time.
It's so exciting.
Oh, man.
You can see so much stuff going up around the whole valley.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every community is into it, right?
I was at the stadium or around it this morning, and it's been a while since I've been around the stadium. I was shocked at what they're building over there. I mean, there's hotels. There's a Tesla dealership that I didn't even know existed over there. There's all kinds of restaurants that opened up around State Farm Arena.
Yeah, the
stadium.
The development is so incredible. And even just when, you see all the signage and all the wraps that are going up on State Farm Stadium just to welcome everybody into the area. It's awesome.
And I was in downtown Phoenix yesterday, and with all the everything that's just going up, the tents and where people are going to sit, and it's crazy. But you could really feel the excitement down there. It's really cool. It's really
cool to host a Super Bowl.
And talk about money. You and I were talking about what this is going to generate.
$1 billion.
That's money.
That's what we're expecting here.
$1 billion coming into the Phoenix area.
With a B.
Wow.
That's bonkers money.
That is crazy. You a Philly fan?
No.
No?
No, I don't know actually who to root for in this Super Bowl.
I thought you would be Eagles.
No, I don't have. I mean, I grew up a Browns fan, but I don't know that I'll ever see them in a Super Bowl. So I was really hoping for the Cardinals this year. I'll be honest.
Yeah, Browns fan. They had some bad luck this quarterback problems.
Yes.
And speaking of QB problems, so did the Cardinals. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, let's not. That's a sidetrack.
Wouldn't it have been nice to have the Cardinals play in their own backyard?
That would have been magic.
That would have been super. But anyway, we're settling for the Chiefs and the Eagles.
It'll be a good game for a lot of visitors.
I am pulling for the Chiefs.
Are you going to bet on the Chiefs?
I am going to bet on the Chiefs, and I feel strongly about it because Patrick Mahomes, my alma mater. He went to Texas Tech.
So there's a little love there.
There's a lot of love there.
Okay.
The guy's incredible. But yeah, I'll be putting some bets down. How about you?
I have a confession.
Okay.
I have never made a single sports bet.
What?
Never once.
It's been legal.
I know. I haven't done it. But that's what we're talking about today, and I'm so excited to learn more because I think I'm going to actually learn a lot about it.
Yeah, we're talking to Max Hartgraves. He's with the Arizona Department of Gaming. How you doing today, Max?
Good. How are you both today?
We're doing good. We're pretty excited over here with what's coming to the Valley, and of course, we keep leaving out the PGA Tour, but that's coming as well. Hey, I'm curious. You're with the Department of Gaming. Are you allowed to bet?
Not in Arizona. If I go to Vegas, I can wager on sports, but I can't wager on sports here in the state.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody who worked for one of the sporting apps here, and he told me the same thing, that he cannot bet on with the company that he works for, but he can bet on competing sports apps.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, makes sense.
I thought that was interesting, yeah. Hey, listen, we got a lot of sports betting going on, and it's been pretty kind to us for the past almost a year. I was reading that almost $5 million was kind of transacted in sports betting here in Arizona. That's not bad, Max.
Yeah, no, we've in our first legal year of wagering, actually a little bit more. So we went live in September of 2021. And so now we have data through October of 2022. too. So just over a year of data, we had $27 million approximately contributed in privilege fees. So that's, off of revenue from sports betting operators. And then another well over 14 million in licensing fees from that first year as well. So the state definitely saw some significant funds from the first year of legal wagering here in the state.
Was the agency expecting it to be as successful as it appears to be?
It was a little unexpected, and I say that by referencing the Joint Legislative Budget Committee's fiscal note. This is part of the state legislature that does, fiscal analysis on bills, and the bill that legalized sports betting projected about $15 million a year in contributions at a developed market to the state. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, we well surpassed that in our first year. So that's, a really exciting thing to see. And throughout our first year of wagering, we've clearly established ourselves as a top 10 market nationally.
So that's just the revenue to the state. Walk me through how it actually works. How many bets are we actually talking about here?
Yeah, so we've had approximately $6.5 billion wagered in the state thus far, and just over $6 billion of that has been paid out to bettors. So a lot of wagering activity throughout the state in our first year of operation. So bettors in Arizona, we're definitely looking forward to it.
We have a lot of out-of-towners coming to Arizona, and where they're coming from, they can't bet, or some of them can't bet. Do you expect to see a large increase in the number of people coming here, downloading sport bets apps, or how do you think that's going to happen?
It's very possible. I like to think sports betting is just another tourist attraction for those out-of-state visitors coming to, maybe escape the cold and, check out some really cool sporting events we host throughout the winter, whether it's March Madness, the Super Bowl or Waste Management or some other type of sporting event. So I like to think it's another tourist attraction. And I'm looking forward to seeing how, our first year of winter compares to this next year as we move through it.
How many sporting apps do we have in Arizona?
Another great question. So there's 17 online operators and 25 different retail locations throughout the state. And I'm happy to share with you after this, we have a retail map and list of all the approved operators with links to their websites and all that. So if anybody has questions on who's an approved operator, they can visit our website and, confirm that for themselves.
And one of those is right there at State Farm Stadium.
Yes, the BetMGM Sportsbook is, I believe, just off of the stadium in a separate building, but right there. Yes, very true.
That's going to be a popular place, I think, on Super Bowl Sunday.
I was just there, Max, 2 weeks ago. I didn't even know it was there, and somebody told me about it, and I went paid it a little visit. I mean, that's going to be one crowded place. It's right on the property of State Farm Stadium. I mean, that's very convenient if you like to bet.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're a person who prefers to the retail scene rather than, placing a bet on your phone, that's definitely going to be an option for those who are going to the Super Bowl or, maybe just exploring all the festivities that are going on around there.
What's more common, the retail locations or the online on your phone betting?
Another great question. Mobile's at least 95%, if not more, of the entire market. So the vast majority of wagers are placed online. And yeah, that's what the reports say, and that's what we've seen thus far.
I mean, it makes sense because, you could be sitting on your couch. You don't have to go anywhere. You could just get on your phone, once you have your app downloaded and just bet whatever you want.
Well, and as I understand it, you can kind of bet on so many different things. It's not just who's going to be the winner or the loser. You can sit there during the game and certain things pop up and you can take bets all the way throughout, right?
Yeah. There's a couple of prop bets that I came across once the Chiefs and the Eagles were lined up. And have you taken a look at those, Max? I mean, you could bet on the coin toss. Who's going to throw the first challenge? I mean, there's a lot of prop bets out there.
Yes, there is. All those prop bets are legal in the state, and it's definitely, you're going to see more on major events such as this. The Super Bowl is one of the most popular events in the U.S. and potentially the world to wager on. So, definitely those operators are trying to offer everything they can for it.
Do you have any estimates on how many bets are going to be placed or how much is going to be wagered on just the Super Bowl here in Arizona?
Another great question. So we don't have anything specific to Arizona. The American Gaming Association does do a a yearly study on the Super Bowl, and I believe that hopefully they'll release their expectations for this year's next week. But in last year's Super Bowl, they expected I think over 31 million people were going to wager on the game, and I think over 7.5 billion in total dollars wagered on the game in 2022. That's what they expected to see. And that was, I believe, like a 70% or more growth when compared to 2021. So, it's exciting to see how that's going to compare to this 2023 Super Bowl and what they expect to see throughout the country.
Well, yeah, because they've added states. I mean, more states are legal this time around.
Absolutely. I know some people out there might be a little hesitant to bet because they don't know, they don't understand it. They don't want to lose money.
I'm raising my hand over here.
Susan, we'll do a nice little tutorial later on.
Yeah, I mean, give us the quick overview for somebody who is a non-gambler like me, but, not opposed to it, interested in it. What's the first step? What do I need to actually do if I want to place a bet on the game?
Well, obviously, there's a handful of things that you need to do. Obviously, you need to use a legal regulated operator. That's the first thing. They have important consumer protections, and, they're regulated by the department. So we go through things like their house rules, their control systems, as well as all the way down to establishing a patron dispute process for somebody who may dispute, their wins or losses. There's a process in place where they can upline that to the department, essentially. So using a legal license operator is the one. The second, I would say, is knowing how the odds work, right? It is a confusing thing. What's a money line? What's an over-under type wager, right? And there's a lot of resources online for that. And it's important to do your research and understand how that works before you make a bet. Because if you don't understand how the odds work, you may be making a wager that plays out differently than what you think, or how you think it's going to work out. So that's another important part. And outside that, wager responsibly, set a limit and stick to it. You don't want to try to chase losses or anything like that, and keep it social. Sports betting isn't a way to make money. It's not a business. It's a form of entertainment that you do with friends and family and colleagues. So I think keeping all those things in mind if you want to make a wager on the big game is really important.
And you're kind of hitting on a serious note there, and I think it's something we should probably address. If people have not bet before and they want to dip their toe into that water, I guess they really need to bet responsibly, and this is kind of an important topic for your agency. Can you talk briefly about that?
Yeah. So I mentioned kind of those steps, right? Setting those wager limits, knowing how those odds work, keeping it social with your friends and family, and using those legal license operators are really the four keys if you want to, bet responsibly. Outside that, we also love to share our resources for problem gambling, right? Problem gambling is an addiction that affects a small subset of the population. I believe 4 to 6% of U.S. adults may experience some form of problem gambling, and it's a serious issue. And we always, in addition to betting responsibly, we want to make sure that people have the resources to take that next step if they have a problem with gambling. So our division of problem gambling is solely focused on the prevention, education, and treatment of problem gambling. And their 1-800-NEXT-STEP program is a great program that directs people who have a problem with gambling, or somebody who may be affected by a problem gambler, to counselors trained in problem gambling treatment. And that can be accessed by calling 1-800-NEXT-STEP, texting Next Step to 53342, or visiting our website, our problem gambling website at problemgambling.az.gov, where there's even more resources like a self-screening quiz, links to Gamblers Anonymous, and a lot more out there. So I think it's really important to keep those in mind too. And of course, it's 21 plus, right? Gambling is not meant for anybody under 21. And it's important to keep that in mind too, if you're looking to make a sports bet over the weekend, for the big game rather.
I think the biggest advice is just keep it fun. I mean, sports betting is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be something that you're betting your mortgage on. Keep it fun. And I think the best advice I ever got was don't bet more than, let's see, what's the advice? Don't bet more than you're willing to lose.
There you go.
So, I mean, yeah, you don't want to bet.
Yeah, lots of good advice there, because like you were saying, there are real serious addictions, and you certainly don't want somebody being led down that path,
right,
if that's not something that they can afford.
Well, what happens is they start chasing that money. So if they lose, like, say, $1,500, they want to make that $1,500 back up. and then they wound up
It's a
losing
mess.
more, and
Right.
it's a dangerous hole that they could dig themselves into.
So kind of on that note, we're talking about giant bets. Do you have any stats about what kind of the average bet is? What are people actually betting? Can I go in there and fool around and say, here's $5?
Yeah, you can bet very small amounts. I'm not sure what each operator and their minimum amount is for a wager, but and then there's obviously maximum amount wagers for certain bets as well. But you've seen a lot of large bets throughout the U.S. I think one that we saw on the MLB game, I believe, what's his name, Mattress Mac. I think his
Yes,
name was.
right.
He wagered millions of dollars, right? And that's obviously a huge outlier, right? That's not something most people do. I don't have the stats right in front of me on that. I do believe, though, the vast majority of people who partake in sports betting are wagering under $200 a week, the vast majority of people. So, definitely you hit it on earlier. You're not chasing your losses. You're not betting more than you're willing to lose. And it's not just for sports betting, right? It's all forms of gambling, whether you're at a casino here in the state or you're betting on, you're wagering on horse racing, whatever it may be. It's important to keep that in mind.
Hey, Max, I don't know if you get onto TikTok or not, but have you seen some of those funny videos where they have, like, say, a 12-leg parlay, and they're up to, they've got 11 already knocked off, and they're waiting for that big one, and people are screaming at them, to cash out.
Cash out, absolutely, cash out.
Cash out, and then, sometimes, they lose big. Have you seen those videos? You feel bad for those people.
I think I've seen a handful of them. I'm not a TikToker myself, so...
Yeah.
I don't go on that app too often, unfortunately.
It's very exciting. These people are nuts.
You kind of want to cheer for them a little bit, but
Yes.
you also want to say, no,
Yes.
don't do it.
Todd, our audio engineer, what was that one guy? He bet like $100 on a 12-leg parlay, and he hit it, right?
Yeah, he ended up winning like $123,000 on a small bet, but it was, I don't know what the legs were, but clearly that's the odds of hitting that are pretty low.
I think the most legs I've won was, we're talking foreign language now.
I know. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Legs. I got legs. I think I've only hit like a 4-leg parlay, and anything beyond that, it's pretty, well, that's why the odds,
Can someone talk about kind of the cash out options on things like that? Because normally, if it was just a bet, I would assume I either win or lose, but they have these things where if you're 3 out of the 4 legs of your parlay, you can cash out for something.
I think that depends on the operator that you're using. I don't know if all of the betting apps do that. Do they, Max?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I would lean towards expecting, it might vary by operator and how it works. But, I'm not sure if there's a requirement rule off the top of my head on that.
I'm pretty sure that it depends on what app you're using. I know the MGM one is noted for being pretty flexible. Once you place a bet, you can take it back out, at least before the event starts. Or if you want to cash out, you can. But, there's pros and cons to each individual operator. So if you're thinking about gambling, do your research and make sure it's for you. Max, I really appreciate all the information and the fact that you joined us on the On Your Side podcast today. It's been fun having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great chatting about sports betting, and I love sharing our messaging, responsible and problem gambling. It's an important issue, and thank you for having me on to talk about it.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You as well, guys. Thank you so much.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock, and every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.